everybody. Thank you for listening and watching the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I'm your host, Max Trujillo, and who's this guy?
I'm your guest, Matthew Weiss.
Yeah, holy crap. Matt, you called me, or you texted me earlier today with an emergency text. Why?
I was reading all this stuff about the Michelin guide and all the hullabaloo that went on around it. And I was like, I want to know what Max thinks about this. And I was like, I wanted you to get on the mic and be like, give me the Trujillo story behind this.
Yeah. And obviously anybody that listens to our show, the show, my show, your show, whatever. Matt and I started the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast getting close to 9 years ago. Last year we went our separate ways. Matt started the wine-centric show. I've continued on doing the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast, and we haven't really talked too much. We saw each other at an event recently, and we've just been kind of doing our thing. And yeah, like in this scenario, I mean, just looking at all of the winners or honorable mentions or whatever you want to call it, all the people that have been cited. I mean, for one, it's basically every person, every restaurant that you and I have ever interviewed over the last however many years.
Yep.
And so we do kind of know a decent amount of the backstory to many of the folks that have been honored. And yeah, it kind of made sense. Like, we should just jump on a call. And so for those that are listening, this is also a wine-centric show as well. However we want to do this, we might like simulcast it on each other's feeds. So, So with that, maybe some pleasantries, Matt. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. And by the way, man, I've been listening, and I like the take, and I think the show's as interesting and fun as ever. And
thanks, man.
I applaud it. I've been doing great. We have this thing going on with Wine Centric where I'm recording inside the Farrington House, who was actually recognized tonight.
That's right.
Inside their wine cellar. It's a little cold, so now I have to wear my jacket when I'm in there. But we've been really having some titans of the industry. Peter Liam, who is the Oracle of Champagne, was on this week's episode and was really exciting. And we're also bringing Eric Asimov, the head wine writer of the New York Times, down here to do a dinner at the Farrington House next Thursday on the 13th. So really trying to bring talent to this area and showcase that boomerang effect where it's the national people coming here and then they go to their place and tell people how cool North Carolina is, but also you get to see, North Carolina brings the really cool people here. So hopefully we're still doing the good work for the NCF&B.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I remember we were in Charleston, you and I, when we first had a run-in with Eric Asimov.
Yeah.
And, Matt and I were both kind of wine people first when it comes to just our history and education. And Eric Asimov is a huge deal, obviously, a New York Times wine writer for how many years? Like 18 years or something like that?
It's 2004. So over 20 years.
Yeah. 21 years. And so then we ended up getting him on the show, which was a huge feather in our cap to have him come in and just talk about, I mean, when we saw him, he was doing he was talking about Italian wine, I believe at the time.
Chianti, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man. And thanks for the kudos with the show. I mean, I will say this, I'm less consistent with the show than we used to be. We were really hard pressed to always record on Tuesdays and release on Thursdays. But part of my reasoning today is I only want to record an episode when there's something to talk about. And sometimes with life and chaos and just, sometimes maybe there's just not something to bring up. And so I let the world speak to me and I let things come to me and I go find things. But it really is, I don't produce the show anymore. I mean, I produce it, but I don't do any production. There's no real music or I don't have any sponsors. I'm not making any money on the show. I'm just doing it as an outlet for my interest of the food and beverage culture of North Carolina. And that doesn't mean I don't want to sponsor at some point, but that wasn't the catalyst behind doing it at this point. It was more like, if I can do this without a big food company behind me or all these other people, then I can just say whatever the hell I want. And it should be told, you and I always pretty much said whatever the hell we want
Yeah.
with a little reason. And so I've just the shows that I've been listening to now that interest me are ones that are just off the grid, have no production, and just are raw. And I kind of feel like that's where this show has evolved to, is just it's a little bit more raw, and it's just we drink wine and we talk, and it's silly now. I don't know.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
cheers.
Cheers. Can we clink with the glass? There we go. Clink.
Clink. Well, first of all, I mean, that's the only shit I would give you is, like our one rule of podcasting was be consistent, but I get it, man. You're dealing with a lot of shit, and when people don't pay to keep the lights on, then it's a whole other ball game. So anyway, the reason that we're getting together tonight is I did text you earlier and I was like, Max, what do you think about this Michelin guide? I mean, it's not like today was the day that they announced it, but we knew it was coming. I remember we were in our studio. This was probably 18 months ago after we interviewed Stephen Devereaux Green. And he told us, he's like, Michelin's coming. I'm making it happen. And so
he also said, don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
Didn't. Yeah.
And, I mean, we didn't. And then I think, Raleigh Magazine got a hold of it, and, then the rest was history. But I just you're a guy that is deeply entrenched in the restaurant game in North Carolina, not just Raleigh. I mean, I am there, but I've been out of it for a year. Like, what are your thoughts? Where's your head out? Just seeing this, what's your take from a general perspective?
Sure. Well, I'll give you a perspective of where I was. So I'm from, I basically cut my teeth in the restaurant industry in Los Angeles. And I think you were living there at the time when Michelin came to LA, perhaps, I don't know. But when Michelin came to Los Angeles, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they only came 1 year and they've never come back. I think they're due to go back, or they might have come back, but they have not, from what I understand, really spent a presence. I haven't fact checked me on that one, but I don't know. But when they did come, and this is like, oh my God, I'm just going to guess, but it's like mid-aughts, like 05, 06, maybe 07. But Urasawa, Melise, and Spago, Wolfgang Puck Spago, where I kind of worked in his camp for years.
Yeah.
Those are the only restaurants that got 2 Michelin stars, which was really, really a big deal. 2 is insane.
Yeah.
And then there were 7 other restaurants that got 1, and that was also pretty amazing as well. And then, as we will talk about later, the other kind of breakdowns of the Bib Gourmand, and then just the
recommended.
The recommended, right? Which are, if you're looking at baseball terms, you're talking about the majors, the AAA, the single A, the double A, double A, single A. And so when it came to Los Angeles, it changed everything for those 3 major restaurants. I mean, Melise went from barely filling out a night to booked 6 months in advance. And then Spago, of course, always was like, it's Spago. It's like the biggest, trendiest restaurant in LA, but that just sealed it like forever. It was like, well, now it's the greatest restaurant out here. Urasawa never went, but it's an amazing Japanese like sushi bar, and it's way too rich for my blood, so that's why I never went there. But so when I was in Los Angeles and that happened, I was a wine rep, and I remember like just going, holy shit, this just changed the culture, because those places were now on the map, and all the 1-star restaurants on the map, and it made Los Angeles a real city for the culinary design. And prior to that, LA was looked as a joke in the culinary scene, as like a big city, right?
Yeah, you went to LA to get a street taco and you were happy with that, but you weren't going there to like fine dine.
Correct. And it was weird because it's like, the number 2 market in the country, and it had like a pitiful excuse for a culinary design. Now, if you look at LA.
Which, by the way, Max, I've been meaning to tell you, I skipped this in the pleasantries, but congratulations on the Dodgers. I was actually pulling for the Dodgers selfishly, because your manager, Doc Roberts, awesome dude, is on an upcoming episode of the Wine Centric Show, because he owns a winery or he's part owner in a winery in it called the Red Stitch in Napa. So congratulations.
I remember seeing that you talked about that and online.
That was an epic World Series, by the way.
I mean, Game 7 was one of the greatest games I've ever seen in baseball, and it just went back and forth. I mean, that play at home plate where Will Smith is barely his foot goes off the plate and then just comes back, and there's that. They took a picture. I put it on my Instagram stories today where it says, "You want to drive Blue Jays fans crazy? Have them watch this." And it's like you see it, the foot, the glass, everything's there. It's perfect evidence that he got him out, but oh my God, it was so crazy.
It was that.
And
I mean,
2 years in a row.
You're talking about that, but game 3, and then, I mean, it just shows like the heart of a champion, what it takes to win, showing you like those teams could not have been more evenly matched. But then, and I know we always get off the rails and we talk about sports. Sorry, Shannon Healy, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto coming back to pitch 2 1/3 after he picks 6 innings the night before. That's like unheard of, dude.
Well, and even like Clayton Kershaw coming out there, like the guy hasn't played in like forever, and he comes in and pitches a few innings and played well. Ohtani, who's been a stud, kind of got rocked in this game and looked like the emperor has no clothes in the beginning of this as a pitcher, and then he didn't. He hit fairly well, but it's like it was the rest of the team: Max Muncy, Mito Kayo, and then and I just had to say, when he hit it, Will Smith, Chris rocked that ball out of the park. That's
all
my
right.
joke.
We digress.
Okay.
So, congratulations, Mazel Tov. But you're so right about that. The fact that it truly did change LA. And so whatever it was, let's just say 20 years ago, it changed LA from being this like transient, not really anything to speak about food city to a real culinary destination.
So you asked that you asked me the question. I gave you a different answer, but why don't I just throw it back to you? What do you think this is going to do for North Carolina?
Max, dude, I got to be honest, and I'm going to piss some people off. And I don't. And listen,
shocking.
I like all the love, of course, to all the wonderful people of North Carolina that have earned this and deserve this. But I don't think that it's Michelin Guide that's changing their lives. I think that you follow the money trail here, and I think this is a house full of bullshit on this, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Explain.
Dude, Michelin Guide, for one, was already in Atlanta for years. So enough, spare me, the Michelin South, American South. Okay, you were already there. You're already in Florida. You're already in Texas.
Yeah.
Number 2 about this, how have you not been in New Orleans prior to now? New Orleans is arguably, top 5 food city in America and has been for 30 plus years.
Right.
And so
it might be the third greatest food city in the country behind New York and Chicago. I'm just going to say maybe.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And even it's definitely top 5. Okay.
Sure.
We could do our listicles all day. So you see all that. And then I just and we know, right, when we talk to Stephen Green, and thank you, Visit Raleigh, for bringing them here. And it's funny. I texted with some people who are deeply entrenched and who have gotten awards. They'll remain nameless, but they were kind of pissed, that some people weren't given stars and some people were given mentions and the whole hierarchy of it. And I was like, and it made me think, it was like, you know what? It doesn't matter what you think and who deserves what and where deserves what. Michelin got their money. And to the point is, I'm doing a Max Trujillo here. I'm going to talk out of 2 sides of my mouth here, because it will do the thing. Like, it will do the thing where it will bring other people to North Carolina. And I had this written down, like there was a place in Myrtle Beach, Prime something. I have it somewhere on my notes, but I'll look it up and we'll put it in the notes. But I was like, oh, well, next time I'm in Myrtle Beach, I'll check out that place, because Myrtle Beach is like usually known as like a zero food destination. But like, okay, I'll check out that place. But I say all this because I think that the Michelin Guide has become a shell of itself, to be honest with you. It feels like a show. Why is it in Greenville, South Carolina? Like, I know Sean Brock went there and the whole thing, but like, if you want to be in South Carolina, you're going to be in Charleston, right? Like the whole thing is just super odd to me, and it feels like it's a money grab for Michelin. I wanted to, but I just didn't have time tonight to look up the financials of where Michelin is. But it's like it just feels like a money grab. That's my perspective.
I appreciate that you didn't just glad hand everything and like kiss a bunch of ass to this French company that sells tires.
Yeah.
Because remind everybody that is
Right.
who Michelin is. People forget sometimes. They think Michelin might just be another entity that has the same name as the tires that you're driving on. But no, it's a travel company, or it's a company that makes tires, and they decided to get in the travel business. Now, whoever did that as a marketing agent, low 30, 40 years ago, whenever Michelin started.
1920. No, it's 125 years in the Michelin guide.
Okay, thank you. So kudos to them, because it was a really great thing and it put them on the map. But then, this is kind of like a bunch of Americans talking shit about French people, but it's kind of like, hey, French, when are you going to give us our kudos? And like, why don't you respect what we're doing here? Now, to speak out of both sides of my mouth, when my family would travel, we went to France for a month back in 2018. We went to Italy for almost a month last year. And when we travel, it was a very big point that the wife would look at Michelin star restaurants, and we made it a point to at least dine at 2 or 3 on our time.
Right.
But it was like, that was her point, was to find Michelin star restaurants. And, I don't think we went to any 2-star, but we went to a few 1-star, and they were all superb. They were great. And the thing that Michelin does is it does give you the confidence of knowing that if there's a star in these places, you're going to have a good meal.
Right.
And the ambiance and the service and all that. It's like, it's not just the meal, it's the whole thing. So that's a clarification, right? That's like a level up.
Yeah.
Or an assurance.
No, so and I agree with that. And here's what I'll say about that is I don't mean to take anything away from anybody who was given a Michelin award, because I honestly think that they all deserved it.
Hell yeah.
What my hunch is, and this is my like brain going in circles, is they looked where Aaron Perkins and Eric Ginsberg and Matt Lardy and the people who write about the who North Carolina regularly, who know Carolinas, they just looked at where they went. They're just like, oh, we'll basically get, maybe we'll show up once or twice. I mean, I have no basis for this. This is full on feeling. And just
that's exactly how the James Beard did it too. And like the James Beard Awards also look to those same writers, and a lot of those writers have a lot of influence. Those writers.
They purposely hired those writers. Michelin Guide apparently has they have a full on staff of people that are inspectors to do this.
And they were here. They came in. I'm aware of that. I've talked to some of the winners because they all kind of knew a few weeks out.
Yeah, everybody knew. If you were mentioned somehow, you knew, and that's why you were in Greenville tonight. So you knew you were getting something.
Right. Yeah. You got invited guests. So for those that don't understand, but like if you were a part of the kind of like the final cut, and not everybody got a star. In fact, only one group in North Carolina got a star, and we will talk about them very soon.
Yep.
But there were 2 green stars, which was one of the same that got the star, and then there were the bib.
Bib gourmands, and then the recommendations.
And then recommendations. And so, okay, maybe we should just get into that. But all of those people were given they were all aware, and then they went down to Greenville, South Carolina, to be at the award show, of which you watched in real time. I just watched for a little bit. I'm glad I didn't watch the whole thing, because let's be honest, award shows are fucking horrible.
Dude, it was terrible. It felt so, you use the word glad handing. I mean, like the JBF award, and actually, before I did want to ask you this question. In your opinion, today, Max Trujillo, let's say you're a restaurateur. You are a restaurant. You have been a restaurateur. Maybe one day you'll open another one. What would be more important, and what do you think? What would be more important to you, and then what would be more impactful to your business? Is winning a James Beard Award or getting a Michelin Bib Gourmand or star? What do you think?
Well, I would make the caveat that getting a Michelin star might be more important than a James Beard Award, but I think I would prefer the James Beard Award, like the regional award, over the Bib Gourmand or a recommendation. I think that's kind of where my my line would fall. I think the
Such a
Michelin
diplomat.
star, well, but I, no, but it's a ranking system, right? I
Yeah.
think obviously 3 star is the highest I think that Michelin gives out, and there are very few that have those. Then 2 star, a little bit less, but still like unbelievably
Yeah.
amazing. And then you get the 1 star, which is a lot more universal. But what my point is, what it really does, to the point when I was saying that the wife would look through all these, like, she knew that these restaurants were on the map now because Michelin gave them their award. She wasn't looking for Bib Gourmand. She wasn't looking for
She was
the
looking for
recommendation.
stars.
She was looking for stars. And that's
Mm.
what I'm looking at, is that I think that she is much like many of those. So I think the star is really going to help out the counter in Charlotte, but I don't know if the recommendations and the Bib Gourmand are really going to move the needle, to your point. I think that the James Beard Awards, which, let's be honest, you and I and all of these friends that probably even listen to the show are, if you're listening to this show, you care about food. And if you listen to your show, you care about wine, but like you give a shit about the restaurant industry.
Right.
But talk to anyone that's not in this industry, they don't give a shit about James Beard Awards or whatever. They kind of know the buzzword. They're like, oh, I think I heard that, blah, 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 maybe. And, like, it's far more important to us in the industry than it is to anyone else outside of it. So I think like it's just superficial. And that's why I would say getting the star really makes it an impact for those that really don't care, because they just say, they have a star, cool, let's go. And then
Yeah.
that's it.
I'll
Who's
agree with
searching
you.
for the Bib Gourmand? I didn't even really know about the Bib Gourmand until today. Like, and I'm in this business. So
Okay,
to that
Max.
point, it didn't really matter.
I want to get back to this and I want to talk about counter, but I have another question, and this is like great for the Instagram clippable socials. What will be the first award show to get a major network or major streaming service to cover it? Because as of now, it's James Beard on their own link and Michelin on YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
So, which award show will be the first to have a major network or a major streaming service cover their show?
It'll be the James Beard Awards, and it'll be on the Food Network. And I think that probably would happen maybe next year. I couldn't see why it wouldn't. We're all starving for
Why hasn't it
content.
happened? Why hasn't it happened already?
Well, maybe because we just said it out loud. It will happen next year, and then we'll have to take credit for it.
Yep, fair.
It seems to happen many times that we do this, and then it happens right after. So you're welcome to many of the James Beard Award winners in North Carolina, because we helped bring you to the
Yeah.
to the
Hey,
limelight.
Carla Hall, give us a shout out, will you?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's talk about the counter, CLT, Sam Hart, Sam, and actually even, oh my gosh, the pastry chef that was on, and I feel like an idiot because I just put her name up on the post as well on here. But anyhow, I'll get to it in a moment. But really amazing that they were given the recognition, because Faith Morley is Faith. Sorry, Faith.
That's
for
right.
not having your name at the top of my head. But chefs Sam Hart, who does essentially the savory side of things. He's the head chef and owner, and then Faith Morley handles the pastry and desserts typically. So we had them on the show back in, it was like July of 23. I looked. And back then they were relatively new, and we knew from that conversation that their shit was tight.
They were on a different level.
And like you could just see Sam was like thinking about things that most chefs are not thinking about, and he's like 5 steps ahead. And what they were doing, and it was kind of part of my little post that I put up right here, was I put huge congrats to Sam Hart and Faith Morley. Fun fact, they were featured on the North Carolina Food and Beverage podcast back when we were all still trying to figure out what a tasting menu theater meant. And now they've got a Michelin star to prove that the magic is real. They are doing performative food exploration as almost in a theatrical sense. And so people, I don't think, really realize it's not just food that they're doing here. It's a full-blown experience. It's tasting menu, and they're typically just pairing they're pairing music and food throughout the night, and it's very intimate. It's very small. It's a counter. Everyone is up front, and they're watching all the food get made in front of them, and it is an experience that is unlike many places in the world.
And they do a whole they redecorate the restaurant based on the whole mood. I mean, it's intense.
It's a theatrical production.
Yeah.
And so it's cool that they were able to get that type of kudos because they were doing something that was unique. I wouldn't say very unique, but unique.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So they're definitely deserving of it. I think that probably everyone would agree.
Yeah. Okay. So who was it? Who's deserving that got shafted?
Right. So, I mean, we'll just and here's the other thing people say about Michelin and having New York experience. You know, people always say, "Oh, if you're a first year restaurant, you can't get a star." You know, and you definitely won't get two. It's happened. But
Sure.
people say, "Oh no, you know, like you just kind of need to earn your keep, or you need to like, get seasoned." So is that and that's one of the main things. Do you think that that's a factor? Like besides counter, which was just like people were blown away, and it's just so obvious that like the Herons of the world, Stanberries of the world, who all were mentioned, didn't actually. I have to look now. I don't think either of those got a bib. They got a recommendation. Even Herons, like, are those now? Are they on?
Yeah,
the
they all just
come up?
got. Yeah, I mean, just in this state, just so you know,
I'm trying to look
the
at
only
my
folks
list for.
I have it right here.
Okay.
So just to give kudos to everybody, the counter didn't only get 1 star. The counter also got a green star, which means that they are incongruent with the eco side of running a business, where they are, as carbon neutral as possible, using a lot of recycled materials, not putting a lot of waste into back into the world. So they got that, and they also along with them, Luminosa, who's in Asheville, also received a green star. So kudos to them as well, because that's really great, keeping it great and keeping it fresh for the world, or for the Mother Earth. And of course, that happened in Asheville because hippies.
Yeah.
Right. It's just a bunch of hippies. I'm fucking around, but yeah.
Max, by the way, that was Graham House, who was the initial acceptance chef to Bubbles and Brats, by the way.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He didn't end up doing it, but
we technically didn't do it because we got shafted by the county of Michelin.
We did do it.
Yeah, I know we didn't officially do it, but we did it. Ask for permission or ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Yep.
But anyhow,
so that's the Green Awards.
Bib Gourmands. The Bib
Can you
Gourmands,
just go? Yeah, read the list. Who got Bib Gourmands and then who got recommendations?
Yeah, Malapata, which I've taken a date to. Because I'm not married anymore. And one of the best dates I've had, because the food was tremendous, and I will tell you, more dates happened because of that experience. So kudos to that team. Sam Jones Barbecue tells the best dirty joke I've ever heard. We heard that back in the day. Prime Barbecue, Chris Prieto, he was stealing all my business while I was at Crafton because he was on the same block as me. I kid, Chris. You've always had that business, and we just were trying to chug along. But Prime Barbecue is tremendous. Little Chango in Asheville, I have to just admit I'm not familiar. I haven't eaten there, as well as Mother from Asheville and Langven in Asheville. Those were the big ones. So 3 from kind of like the triangle and 3 from Asheville. And I don't believe there was a big gourmand in Charlotte, other than obviously the star that went to the counter. So, which is bizarre.
And that's where I would say that Bib Gourmands would be like, oh, you're on the waiting list basically to get a star. Like next time we come, you guys up your game just a little bit, and you're getting a star. Again,
yeah.
I know the barbecue thing is like.
Oh, Langvan, I'm sorry, I said it was Asheville, but Langvan is in Charlotte, so that was my bad. To correct, Langvan got a Bib Gourmand in Charlotte.
Yeah. Okay, and then the list of recommendations for North Carolina.
Yeah, so that one we've got St. Roch, Sonny Gerhardt.
Yep.
You've got Scott Crawford at Crawford and Son, totally worth it. The Farrington House, as we just mentioned. Huge props to Chef Oscar Diaz at Little Bull in Durham. Stanberry, always. I mean, we've both admitted. I think we said Stanberry was our favorite restaurant. I like to compare Stanberry as they're the pretty girl at school that will never date us because we're not cool enough. That's why they were never on our podcast. But we're still always pining for them. And maybe one day, they might give us a chance. Nanas of Durham. That was obviously Scott Howell, then it taken over by Matt Kelly and team, and have really made it tremendous. That was great. Scott Crawford comes back with Brodetto, his Croatian style restaurant in Raleigh Ironworks. You've got Tamasha. We both love those guys so much. Bringing high-end Indian cuisine to Raleigh, something that hasn't really existed before. Here's a name that maybe you might remember. Ashley Christensen from Pool's Diner, which used to dominate the entire conversation of the food and beverage industry in North Carolina, but has now kind of like she's in the mix with everybody. Scott Crawford comes back for a third mention with Jolie, which is next door to Crawford and Son out there in the Oakwood district. Kudos to Georgios with Nikos in Durham. It only took him 22 restaurants to get one of them named. I'm kidding, but
open 22, Bavana, you'll get one.
Yeah, Brewery Bavana coming out there, Laotian style brewery / dim sum / flower shop / bookstore. Because yeah, why not? That makes sense, and it did, especially to the Michelin. The aforementioned Heron's NC, which is inside of the Umstead Hotel, as we discussed, that chef Stephen Devereaux Green, who has been there as their executive chef and director of operations of all the full culinary side of things for quite some time, who was the sous chef to Scott Crawford, who initially brought them from a 4-star to a 5-star, Forbes 5-star back in the day. So Scott's got his stink all over this thing, by the way. Seraphim in Durham. Have you ever been there? Because I know you spent a lot of time in Durham.
That's the Weddingtons. That's their New Orleans place.
Duh.
Yeah.
Obviously, my brain doesn't always work, but yeah, and we love those guys.
Shout out to Graham and Graham
Brad,
and Brad,
of course. Graham and Brad. By the way, sorry. New Orleans Saints fans, we don't really pay attention to them too much. We know these guys. Here's one that I will say is controversial, and I'm like, why the hell are they here? The Pit Barbecue in downtown Raleigh. No offense, but the next name I'm going to mention, and the name I mentioned earlier as Sam Jones and Prime Barbecue, totally makes sense. Damp Good Barbecue also made it.
Yep.
Those three are some of the best barbecue you can find in the country. And I would argue that Lawrence Barbecue, who is new and also had to change around, and I did go there with a friend over the weekend, and it was slutty, delicious food. And we actually opted to not go to Stanberry as a date because it was Game 7 of the World Series. So we went to a place that had a television, which was Lawrence Barbecue. But our boy Jake Wood, bro, no offense, you got to invest in the package or something, because they didn't have real TV and we couldn't watch the game live. So I was literally watching it on my iPhone. And then as soon as we were done, we ran over to Woody's and we finished watching the game at a sports bar. That said,
maybe that's why he didn't get the recommendation.
Dude, get Hulu Live, bro, and then you'd have got the friggin' Michelin 1-star. But Jake Wood, I kid, bro. His food is tremendous. It's slutty. That's the word I use for it, because it's delicious, but he overdoes it to the point where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you just put cheese on top of carnitas, on top of tater tots, on top of onions, on top of hot sauce. I'm like, what are you doing to me? It's so good, but it's so gluttonous. It was tremendous. It made the whole night. My friend said, I don't know if there's a good place to a sports bar to get food. And I said, watch it there. And we went to Lawrence, and it was awesome. Now, granted, they had all the college football on because it was Saturday, so we were watching college football, and that was great. They just didn't have the baseball, but and then
by the way, Fox, not somehow FS1 is on DirecTV. If it was a DirecTV account, not on the regular network, is not on there.
Whatever.
So that was probably the thing.
Yeah, it was so stupid. Okay,
Fox,
but Damp Good Barbecue. I don't know if you know that. Well, you know this because you know that me and Nick Damp are very good buddies. We hang out. We're close. I text him often, very often. He and his wife had their 5th child recently, and today, as we record this, is Nick Damp's birthday.
Yep. Happy birthday, Nick Damp.
He got
what a birthday present.
He got a Michelin recommendation for a birthday, and I text him, or I put it on social media on Instagram. I just said, Nick, did you ever think that Michelin would write Damp barbecue together like ever. Like, did you ever think that would happen? I mean, it's just a different level for him, and I'm so proud that he had that happen. He gets the shaft sometimes by some very extreme woke people at times for not being as woke as they'd like, because he's a conservative guy and he's a nice guy, and I hate that sometimes people put politics into what means great food, and he is doing it better than most, and I'm appreciative that Michelin understood that, because it's all about food first.
So, but Max, here's the thing. Like, who and how did they decide? And no doubt, Nick is deserving, not taking away that Nick gets it over Jake, right? Like, why? Yeah. Why? If Nick's deserving, why is Jake? And certainly, to your point, Lawrence Barbecue is deserving over the Pit. I mean,
yeah. Let's be honest. Back in the day when Ed Mitchell was there,
but and we didn't live here there for 20 plus years.
Yeah, we didn't live here in the town, but people that have lived here told us that the Pit was legit when Ed Mitchell started it. It was Ed Mitchell's.
The Pit was legit when he was on the show, right? Like,
and his son Ryan.
Yeah, it was great barbecue.
But I believe that, and so they got it maybe because of longevity, I guess. But that one seemed a little like, come on, bro. Like,
well, then, so to your point about the equivalent of a Felicia Trujillo visiting Raleigh, North Carolina, and then going to the Pit because, it has a bib recommendation. I mean, I know you were saying that it's a star, but maybe this person, for my example, was going because it's a Michelin recommended restaurant. And then you go there and you're like, really?
Well, as Primus once said, they can't all be zingers, but I think they did miss the boat on that one. I would say, and by the way, my list that I'm looking at, there are others. I'm kind of looking just primarily at the triangle. So forgive me, guys.
Do you have
more.
The rest of the North Carolina list in front of you?
Yeah. Let's see. It's no. I just hold on. I'll get it in a second.
Okay. Because while you're looking it up, this is perfect segue to my question the other thing that I've been wanting to ask you. Back to my whole diatribe in the beginning, what is the freaking deal with the fact that this happened last year, but the list of winners got released before the event, like earlier hours before the event?
Yeah, it was. I didn't expect that to happen. It was weird that came through, because kind of it's like saying who won Best Picture for the Oscars before the Oscars come out. And truth be told, if they did that, I'd never watched the Oscars once, because the only reason why we even go through that slodge is just because of our curiosity of who might actually win.
And maybe hear a good speech or two.
Yeah, maybe watch Will Smith smack somebody in the face. But so I mean, to not make light of some of this stuff you got out there, I've got it right here. Just to give a little bit more. Asheville, the Admiral, All Day Darling, Curate, obviously, they deserve.
Yep.
They might have deserved a star. Let's be honest. Golden Hour, Good Hot Fish, Leo's House of Thirst, Luminoso, Mother, we mentioned, Soprana, Sunny Point Cafe, Table, Tall John's, Ukiah, Asheville, very well represented. Carrie, we got the Herons and Damp. We got Charlotte with Counter. We've got oh my God, some of this stuff is. I'm trying to look at this in real time. No offense, but it's,
what's interesting, Max, about that is Chai Pani, which won outstanding restaurant for James Beard. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah,
is not even mentioned in Michelin.
Not mentioned. Haberdish, we both have dined there. We liked it very much.
Also, shout out to Colleen Hughes. She got a mixology, like best mixologist award through Michelin, which is well deserved, and she is incredible. And
she got that from Supperland and their other new location, which the name escapes my mind. Hello Sailor, obviously we know the Kindreds. Fantastic, and Kindred also. So Hello Sailor and Kindred both on there. Lang Von and Little Mamas, Omakase by Prime Fish, Rada, Restaurants Constance, Read Next. Is that a place? No, it just says Read Next. Sorry. Supperland, we just mentioned, and that was awesome. Now we're into Durham, which Little Bull, Nana's, Nico, Seraphine, and then into Raleigh, Bovana. We already did all
We
this
already did
stuff.
this,
Okay.
yeah. But
And Pittsburgh. Okay, the Farrington, and I believe, I don't know, unless I'm missing something. I thought Greenville had something, but I guess they didn't.
Greenville,
So
North Carolina.
yeah, I don't know why I thought maybe somebody like maybe um, Julep or Local Prime or Local Native or something like that. Might
Mm.
have been announced, but maybe not. They might be too new. So, but anyhow, I mean, look, if you want to look at this list from the outside looking in, if you don't know anything about North Carolina and you're just on a business trip or you're whatever, you're going to go see your kid graduate from Duke and you're like, I'm just in town. If you look at this list and you pick any one of these places, you're going to be fine. You're going to go to a good place. Maybe not the Pit. No offense, guys. But
How many phone calls are you getting? I'm not getting any calls. You might get some calls. The
the
Pit.
best part is they actually just hired me to be their general manager. So I'm going to turn that shit around. No, but
We get the
maybe,
star.
yeah, but maybe it's just or well, whatever. I think that what Michelin did was they acknowledged really great restaurants in the place. I will go back to Malapata getting an acknowledgement because they are in their first year. They just opened. They're pretty brand new. But of course, giving kudos to them, you've got the brain trust of Eric Montagny, who was my chef at Standard Foods, where Scott Crawford also was. So Scott's again everywhere. But Eric Montagny and Zach Gregg, who was the sous chef at Standard, and then they both worked for local seafood for a very long time, both at the food halls in Transfer Co. and Durham Food Hall. And then they collaborated with Angela Salamanca and Marshall Davis, who runs Centro, and then the Gallo Palone, which is now shuttered, taken over by Kim Hammer of Bittersweet. Gosh, guys, we know a lot about the food and beverage industry out here, right? But they, as a team of 4 or 5, put Malapata together. They're milling their own corn, like they're making their own flour. They're doing it all from scratch. They're doing like next level. This was the conversation I had with my friend when we went there, who is also a major foodie, was like, this is not a Mexican restaurant. This is high end gourmet food that happens to cook with Mexican flavors and like tones of it. But like the food was unbelievable to the next level. And so it was really nice. It's almost like in a comparison, it's like tamasha to Indian food is what I
Mm.
compare Malapata to Mexican food. And it's like you're getting really, really high expression of the flavors and technique of Mexican food
What's
at,
what's your
at
go
Malapata.
to what's your go to dish there, Max?
Oh, without a doubt. And it's the thing that you wouldn't expect me to say. It is the piña y queso. And that means it's chunks of pineapple and queso fresco over a salad of radicchio. And like, I believe he's got maybe some like onions in there as well. Very nice sharp acidity, like a vinaigrette that's on there. It It's so delicious. If you do not order it, you are missing out so much. It is the best thing that I've had all year, and I'm not speaking in hyperbole. This was my favorite thing to eat. I will, and Eric, Chef Eric Montagny, came to the table uh, and explained to me that they were doing a pop up one time, and they were cooking something else. And at the end, they ran out of food, but they just happened to have pineapples and they had queso fresco, but for 2 different dishes. And they were just sitting there. And Zach Gregg, who is the kind of chef de cuisine there and worked with me as well, he was just like munching on pineapple and queso fresco. And they had like maybe a radicchio, whatever. And he was just like eating it, just kind of like, because they were at the end of the day. And he's like, dude, this is really good together. And they were just laughing. And it was just like, oh, this is delicious. And they're like, shit, why don't we just make this a dish? And then boom, it now it's like defining of what they do there. And
Pina y queso over
piña
radicchio.
queso.
There you go. You heard it from Max Trujillo. All right, Max, I have one last question for you in this whole rigmarole of things.
Yeah.
You are not a stranger to celebrity chefs, working for celebrity chefs. The only 2-star award was given to Emerald's New Orleans.
Yep.
How do you feel about that? And then on top of that, the Michelin Young Chef Award was given to his son, EJ Lagasse.
Well, I think like what I said at the beginning of the show, we were talking about Los Angeles. Wolfgang Puck got for Spago a two Michelin star, and I think anyone that knows anything about food at all would say, yeah, of course. Like Spago is legit, and if you haven't been, you might know about it because it's kind of famous. But I think to the same point, I would say that Wolfgang Puck and Emma Lagasse kind of walk in the same line. They're well known, they're TV friendly, but they've done so much in this industry and had so many different restaurants that have all been successful.
Yeah.
And the flagship being Emerald's and Spago, to get the 2-star kind of just makes sense. That's like if, Eric.
It's like Yoshiobu Yamamoto coming to the Dodgers and having to pitch out of the bullpen, right? Of course, you're going to make him the starter. You're going to make him the number one starter.
And he got he got the MVP. So maybe that's what you mean, is that like, of course, because he put out so much, he got the MVP.
Yeah.
And typically pitchers don't get the MVP. It's been like 8 years since a pitcher got
also
MVP.
Because he was the first, he had come from Japan. This was his first season in the majors. So
right. Yeah, he's a rookie. He's a rookie in the majors, which is weird. But I think that's where that goes. And 2-star, I also just think that the French are very hard pressed to give Americans 2 stars because they know what it means around the world. Because we're not talking about just like what this means for America. When Michelin does this, they are a world discerning judgment of food. So when they give out 2 stars, they're saying this is 2 stars compared to the world. They're putting those 2 stars to compare to the greatest restaurants in Spain and in Japan and in Germany and, of course, in France. So, like, those places have to compare to the other places that are 2 stars. And so I think that's it's a huge achievement, but also it's a massive statement.
Max, in your infinite wisdom, I think you just categorized this whole thing for me and really summarized. It's basically, and again, I'm not shitting on the people who earned it because I don't know how legit it is, but anything that's not Michelin is here to give stars, and all else is fodder for their revenue.
Sure.
I think that's what it comes down to.
You do realize
hearing you explain that rationalized it in my brain.
Well, the whole reason the Oscars actually were created was to get people to go to the movie theaters. And it was created by all the movie houses like RKO and Paramount and like the original movie houses that happened. People weren't going out to theaters because like we're talking about the 30s and the Depression, and people didn't have money. But we were still making movies, and they're like, how do we get people to go out there? They're like,
right.
How about this? Why don't we all tell everyone what the best movie is? And then they'll go out because we'll turn them into stars.
They'll have to go see it.
Right. And it's my whole conspiracy theory with like the NFL. Like it's like, I don't think every game's rigged, but I do think some games are rigged. And I think what they do is they try to make stars out of certain players like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. And now we'll put, Jason Allen. Yeah, sure, him, Bo Nix, whatever. But like those are the. I think like they really want to see stars because stars sell tickets, stars sell jerseys, stars keep people attuned every week because they're not really talking about the game so much. I think fantasy football had a lot to do with individuality, but I think the NFL realized that, so they are promoting individuals in the game, not just teams, and they're really pumping it out there. So with all that said, promoting your own industry with awards and like specialty, whatever, like you're saying, these are the upper crust, and you're putting everybody out there and saying, this is what you want, America. We're force feeding it to you. This is what you get. Most people, going back to what we said earlier, don't really know too much about the industry, whether we're talking about football or sports. Yeah. I mean, like food or whatever, music, the Grammys, whatever. We hear this and we're told this is the best. And then generically we just consume that stuff. It's the Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga of the world. It's like we're just consuming things that we're told is the best. And generically speaking, it's really worked well for all of these industries that have created award shows.
Right. Well, by the way, there's some synergy there because isn't it that football was created to sell food according to Uber Eats? And then
I don't know.
maybe they're gonna partner with the Michelin guy. You've seen the commercials, right? Like you haven't seen those commercials?
I can't say that I have.
Yeah, there's this whole campaign by Uber Eats, basically that football is a conspiracy to sell. When the quarterback's scrambling, all of a sudden egg sales go up. So
yeah, I can see that. And then Jerry Rice was at the end, right? And he was like, "That's right." He was like,
"Yes," and then there's a whole new one.
Yeah.
I think you're right on that. So okay, here coming from New York, right? Michelin star, obviously a huge deal. I might argue though that if you got a review in the New York Times, like a really solid 3-star, even to some respect, like if you were not like quite fine dining, you got a really good 2-star review, your business would, jump up. And I remember when you were at Standard Foods,
Great,
and
Cox
you were getting the review.
4-star.
Yeah, and he called you to let you know, like, hey, are you set up because this review? So that's the other question. Like, well, is it this national, driving the national audience, or for a business owner, is it more important to get like if you have a local restaurant, is it more important to get like Drew Jackson of the News and Observer to write about you? Now, no offense to Drew, but it feels like the News and Observer is not moving the needle as much as it once used to. And that's probably with publications across the country. Probably New York Times doesn't do the same thing. But
to his credit, Drew Jackson is a food writer, but he's not the food reviewer. They don't have that position any longer. Drew Jackson essentially took over what Andrea Weigel had done for such a long time, kind of doing the restaurant beat for the News and Observer.
But not reviewing restaurants. Right.
But I think both of them are doing an excellent job. I mean, I'm literally looking at Drew's article to give me the facts that we stated on this show. So Drew knows
should have called him to be on here.
I know. Yeah. Why are we talking to each other? We should just have Drew tell everybody.
Yeah.
But with that said, I mean, like Drew knows everything about this stuff. But I would say, and I put it out in the universe before, but yours truly should have been the next food reviewer for the News and Observer as a secret reviewer. But the problem is I can't really walk in a restaurant.
You don't do it. You don't do anonymous well.
Yeah, like believe me, in this dating life of mine, it's almost annoying that like I go into restaurants and like I'm trying to be on a date with somebody, and then like 15 people that I know are like, "Hey Max, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going?" I'm like, "All right, can we just? I'm trying to talk to somebody." By the way, this is my new deal with the NCF&B podcast. When we get to the last quarter of the episode, because I've looked at our statistics, and this rings true for even when you and I were doing it, our consumption rate is about 75%. And that's really good because most podcasts, the national average is like 62%. So what that means is like, for the most part, people are listening to most of the show. And a lot of times when someone listens to the show and then wants to listen to another part later on, but they only listen to a segment, it actually ruins our statistic a little bit. Like the super fans actually ruin our statistic for consumption rate. So my point is, and having produced the Holderness family for so many years, the Holderness family has like a 90% consumption rate, which means like basically everyone listening to the show listens to the whole show.
That's incredible.
But my point is, now, Matt, that we're in the last quarter of this episode, we can say whatever the hell we want because no one's listening. So if you want to talk shit about anyone, like literally you, me, maybe Swarup, who's listening, is gonna like no, it's like 5 guys are like listening to this episode at this point. So hey guys, what's up? We're just talking to you. It's just us. Rush is coming back. With the new female drummer. We're going to go see them. But like, I always laugh. So it's like, yeah, that's why I can just like get loose. And I go in the last quarter of the episode is where I just like let my hair down a little bit and just talk about real shit. So yeah, going out on dates in this new life, not always the easiest, especially when, not everyone knew that I was single. So they see me at a bar with somebody and they're like, who the hell's that girl? Like literally I had bartenders go, "Where's Felicia?" And they go, "Really, man? Like, we're going to do this right now?" I'm like, "We're cool." But by the way, the wife and I have, as we've discussed, are very friendly and like totally cool and co-parenting, and we're very friendly. Like we text all the time. We're great.
Yeah.
We're just living separate lives, and it's really positive. And I wish more people could do what we're doing in this world, because I think our kids really enjoy the fact that both of us are happy and no one's arguing and we're just living our own lives. So it's good.
Yeah, no, I think I've heard great things, and I mean, I've heard from you. It sounds awesome, and
How are the boys now? Are they getting big?
my boys are big, 9 and 6, and it's MMA constantly at the fucking house. I'm a referee, most of my job, but it's cool. They start basketball tomorrow. My Cam is a full-time goalkeeper and on the junior elite team, and maybe go to pre-academy. So it's cool.
That's awesome.
It's fun to watch them grow up. Yeah.
But by the way, in keeping it real, I'm not going to edit anything that we did here on this show because I don't believe in editing it anymore.
Just the one thing about me forgetting Brad Weddington's name.
Yeah, but like Brad, fuck you, Brad. Come on. We forgot your name for 5 seconds. Brad, we love you, dude. And you know that. He was one of the guys that kept his composure when he saw me on a date, because I went to go see Louis C.K. and we walked into Nana's and had martinis right before. And he Nana Steak. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nana Steak. And right next to Deepak, right before the Louis C.K. went on. And I was there with a lady, and he came up and he looked at me and didn't really know what was going on. He's like, and I said, "Hey, Brad, this is so-and-so." And he's like, "Cool, right on." And then like, I think I like went to the bathroom, or like I got alone at some point. He's like, "So you got a lot to fill me in on." And I went, yeah, things are different in my life. He's like, "Right on, bro. Cool. Like, good." But he was professional, which is what you're supposed to be in the restaurant industry. Don't start talking about, "Hey, where's your wife?" when you're on a date.
Dude, okay. I mean, I guess, yeah, nobody's listening. So did that happen where people were legitimately like, "Where's Felicia?"
It happens a lot. Like it happens, I would say, if
By
I go
guys?
on
By guy bar?
oh no, it's 100% women.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But if I go on, I don't know, a few dates in a month, my God, this is what sucks is I think, never mind, I'm not going to say, but if I go on dates, it's every fifth date might be someone saying something about where's the ex-wife or where's the wife, and I go, "Guys, like, really, why is this a thing? Like, why are we talking about this live? Like, why are we doing this? Text me later or something, you know?"
Yeah. Like, even if you were like doing something like cheating.
Yeah, if I was cheating, how dare you?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. That's horrible. But yeah, but I think I just ruined my dating life completely by saying all this right now.
Or maybe people want to have that same experience and they want to be, are they going to ask? Are they going to ask? They ask where the wife is.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut the fuck up right now because it's stupid. And I just realized that I probably put my foot way deep in my mouth. But no, it's good.
Yeah.
So tell me what's going on, wine centric. What do we have to know? Are there any like? Oh, you already told me that you've got
Eric's
Mr.
coming
Roberts.
down. We have Peter Liam. So much good shit coming up. The Dave Roberts episode. You talk about Spago. There is a woman there named Christy Norman who was one of the youngest sommeliers at Spago, and she came on the show, so we'll release that one. We got a Portuguese wine episode coming up this week, and I released an article that came out today. Nobody's listening, so Carrie Magazine kind of fucked it up, but it's still kind of funny. I wrote an article about a shopping guide to wine, and not just like giving you flavors or blah blah blah, but like I wrote about the archetypes at your family holiday gathering and how you would buy wines according to what they want. So for example, my original was like my brother's mother-in-law who has to put ice cubes in her Pinot Grigio. I'm like, okay, well, let's get her something good, right? Like, or my sisters-in-law who detest the taste of alcohol, but they just want sweet. Now they wrote different archetypes for that, but that's the basic idea. So I think it
That's
was
cool.
a useful guide to wine buying for the holidays. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was on My Carolina this morning,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's going to come out tomorrow. It'll so I think I'm just going to release this tomorrow morning. Like, or just why not, right? I'm just going to when I hit end with you, I'm going to send you this file and release it whenever you want. But just so you know, I'm going to probably just throw like the music on top real fast, and then boom, 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 and send it out for tomorrow morning. So everybody can listen to this kind of in real time, since all this stuff just happened on a Monday night. So you'll listen to it on a Tuesday morning. But with that said, no one's listening anyway, so who cares if I'm promoting this? But on My Carolina Tuesday morning and right now, I'm proudly representing Raleigh Oyster Fest.
Yeah.
Our buddies Ed and Fernando and his other brother, which I can't remember his name right now. It's
Brad.
late, guys.
His name's
It's just
Brad.
Brad. Yeah, Brad Mera. That's his name, Bradley Mera, from Ecuador. That's the way they named their sons Brad, B-Rad. And no, but we got on My Carolina to talk about the Raleigh Oyster Fest, which is being held at Smoky Hollow, where Bubbles and Brisket has been for the last 5 years. And we're doing, it's great, like Chef Luis Swine. We've got Katsuji and Anthony Rapillo. Kyle Fletcher over at Glass House. We've got Simeon Spence, who just opened up a new food truck. He used to work at Oro as a sous chef under Kevin Ruiz. Anyhow, it's really fun. We've got like 5 or 6 different chefs all making food with oysters. And then the fine folk over at Raleigh Wine Shop, as well as John Lambrakis over at Avantgarde, are collaborating to put this whole thing together. And so if you like Bubbles and Brisket, it's kind of like us doing Bubbles and Brisket, but with oysters. And it's
You're gonna
a
have the whole
similar
space as well, and like the
Yep.
whole cool. Are you
It's
having
going
a
to be very
DJ?
similar. We're going to have musicians. We're going to have a couple of different musicians come out and play. I would tell you, but I don't know who they are because that is Eduardo's realm. And
Oh, cool. How do you get
much,
tickets?
you can go on any of our social media, any of my links in bio on Instagram, but you also can just go to Raleigh Oyster Fest, and we're spelling it raw, RAWLEIGH, Raleigh. Get it, everybody? So it's Raleigh Oyster Fest. I just, as we are on this podcast, Ed just texted me right now. We're capping the tickets at 500 just because it's their first year and we didn't want to go too crazy. And apparently we only have 32 tickets left. So
Wow.
we did a pretty good job of selling tickets. So as you hear this, guys, will you be one of the last 32 to get those tickets? I say yes. Go and finish that up and do it. So it'll be a success. There's going to be crazy oysters, a lot of sparkling and wine. We've got Trophy, Bond Brothers, Blackbird beer. We've got THC seltzers from Tail Chaser coming out there as well. It's going to be a fun time, and it's this Saturday, November 8th. So get your tickets and have a fun time. I've been a shucking demon over this summer. I've shucked so many oysters with Ed. I don't know why. It's like a thing I enjoy doing, and it brings me great happiness sitting there shucking oysters. So that's why that's why I'm a part of the team.
What time
But
is it?
it's exactly like Bubbles and Brisket. We do happy
Cool.
hour or VIP hour from noon to 1, and then 1 to 4 is the general admission session. And Moon Room, which is owned by Tyler Hellickson, is our VIP space. So people can go in there and they can drink all they want and have all the oysters they want if they have a VIP ticket. And I do think there are 15 VIP tickets still available. So those are highly coveted because you can get whatever the hell you want. And that'll be a good time. So if you're not doing anything on Saturday, you should come on by. It'd be fun. And I expect everyone else to come out and fulfill their destiny with drinking and eating oysters in the months that end in R, as in November.
There you go.
But by the way, Ed would tell me, stop saying that shit out loud because that's not true. You can get oysters all year round. It's just the oysters change. But this is the best time to have an oyster. Is like literally, that's why we picked this date. This is the best time of the year to have an oyster. And
Dude,
given the oysters we just popped this morning for by Carolina, we were just slurping them afterwards. Woo! They are like They are the best oysters
Singing.
I've had. Yeah.
That's cool.
And,
I would be there. I'm actually pouring champagne for Wine Solutions, which is doing a walk around champagne tasting on Saturday. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, maybe people could do both. You go get some oysters and then obviously get some champagne or one or the other.
Go.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, I will say this has been a pleasure chatting with you again, man. It's been a bit.
Yeah.
And we might have to do this a little bit more often. I think you and I have a lot to say when it comes to this food and beverage industry. We did no rehearsal, everyone. We just said, you ready to go? Yep. Okay. And we hit record. And whatever we just spat out of our mouths is just what we were thinking. So, but I enjoyed this conversation. I thought it was great.
Me too. This is fun. Like I said, I genuinely wanted to hear what you were thinking about this whole thing because it's a big deal for the Carolinas. And yeah, I think hopefully we get a chance to review it again and do this again.
Yeah.
It's fun.
You started it off controversially, talking about how you thought this was all a big scam and sham, and I love it. No. I mean, hey, in the end, I think, like we said before, all ships rise, right? Like so. Everyone's helping everybody, and if they can get more people to put more asses in seats and keep people on the payroll and during these tough economic times, I would say this is only a positive thing for the food and beverage industry. So if your name wasn't called today, chill out, because what it did is it brought more people visibility to this area. So maybe Scott Crawford's restaurants will be all sold out because of it, and they'll end up going to your place.
That's right.
Don't worry about it. As the great Kip Downer, my podcast or my business partner at Crafton said, it made me think about things differently. Kip does well financially, and he's like, there's so much money in this world and there's so much money to make, but there's so much to go around that I've never been greedy about the money I make. I just want everyone else to make more. And he's like, just go and make it, because it's not just mine, it's not just yours, it's everybody's. Just go get it and get out there. And I love that mentality. It's like, yeah, just like more is more, and don't be greedy. Give it out, and let us all kind of enjoy.
I love it. Go get it.
Yeah. All right,
can I sign off?
Please, dude. So Matt, without further ado, you got anything else left?
I think you know it all, but everybody go check out the Michelin Guide. Go check out your best restaurants in Raleigh. Go check out the people who really know their stuff, like Eric Ginsberg and Matt Lardy and Aaron Perkins from Eater Carolina and Drew Jackson from News and Observer, and you will eat and drink extremely merrily.
Thank you for listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. By rating us online, you're helping others to discover our show. Follow us on all platforms at NCFB Pod.